Arsenal make new Enzo Fernández transfer inquiry video is powered by Think Landscaping. Think Landscaping are dealers in designing, planning, and transforming your outdoor spaces. And they do maintenance. They obviously have irrigation systems and so on and so forth. So if at all you feel like you want to upgrade, improve, old design, even do a lot to your outdoor space, Think Landscaping is the way to go. Call them on those numbers that you see on the lower left bottom corner, and you will thank me later and you'll be like, Rokani David gave us the biggest gig of this year of 2025. Sorry, 2026, I'm sorry. So that is it. And that's all about a side called Think Landscaping in there for you. Now, we do have something big in here for you, and it's all about Arsenal make Enzo Fernández transfer inquiry. You understand? So, Arsenal is one of those teams that are really interested in a midfielder, and they were once looking at Elliot Anderson, and the price kept them out. Because they thought he was overpriced. The same applies to Matheus Fernández. The same applies to Sandro Tonali. Now, on their list, they do have Buwadi. They do have Enzo Fernández. Alex Scott. Bournemouth is like, we are not selling the player. You understand? And they've gone ahead to inform every other club in the Premier League that the player is not for sale. Now, one of the players that Arsenal thought that is really good for them is Enzo Fernández. But we remember when he went to play for Argentina, I think the last World Cup international friendly, I think it was around March, he came in through and really said that he wants to play in Madrid, and Real Madrid is his dream team. And maybe Arsenal was like, all right, if Madrid is his dream team, then why should we chase after a player? And Real Madrid is also chasing out for the player. But Madrid have gone ahead and obviously thrown in a very huge confirmation that has gone ahead to awaken the team known as Arsenal. And this confirmation was obviously put out by Fabrizio Romano on the 3rd of this month. And he told us that Real Madrid confirmed 0 talks to sign Enzo Fernández. And the document read, Real Madrid came out and obviously put out the following document. In light of the reports and statements that have appeared in recent days regarding Real Madrid's alleged interest in the player Enzo Fernández, the club wishes to state that it has not made any efforts, either directly or indirectly, to sign the aforementioned player, and furthermore has no intention of undertaking such a transfer. That is Real Madrid. They've gone ahead, obviously distanced themselves from this transfer. They added and said, Real Madrid whispers to express its utmost respect for Enzo Fernández, a great footballer whose career and quality are widely recognized, as well as for Chelsea FC, a club with which it maintains an excellent institutional relationship with. They added and said, precisely out of respect of an institution like Chelsea FC and due to the principles of institutional loyalty that have always guided Real Madrid's actions, the club considers it necessary to categorically deny these unfounded speculations, which are completely untrue. Real Madrid regrets that, despite the clarity of the facts and the lack of any action on the part of the club, information continues to be disseminated that does not correspond to reality and that only contributes to generating confusion among fans and unnecessarily harming the entities and people involved. Now, after this story came out, obviously, I think Arsenal's thoughts went ahead to change on Enzo Fernández. You understand? And guess what? We've gone ahead to obviously get right now. Fabrizio Romano also confirmed to us that no talks between Man City and Enzo Fernández at this stage, despite new links after Real Madrid deal not happening. Enzo's future will only be discussed after the World Cup in there for you. Now, after getting all those stories and really putting them together, guess what has gone ahead to happen? The side of Arsenal has gone ahead to do the following. And it's all about Glio Angari. You know, he works for TV dello Sporto. He told us that Arsenal has begun gathering information and inquiring about the status of Enzo Fernández, who is pushing to leave Chelsea this summer. In there for you. So Arsenal are hugely gathering information and inquiring about the status of Enzo Fernández. You know, when you hear Arsenal and Chelsea, you know, you obviously know that these clubs have gone ahead to obviously have a very good business relationship in the recent past, because Jorginho from Chelsea to Arsenal, that is in 2023. Then Kai Havertz to Arsenal, that is, I think, the sum of 2023. Then is it 2024, right? Then this other guy, I think it was 2023 summer. That's when they brought in this guy known as Kai Havertz at Arsenal, and they've gone ahead to give them Noni Madueke in the summer of 2025. So what does that mean? It means that Arsenal do have some good relationship with Chelsea, and they're like, let's go to Chelsea and obviously inquire about the status of the player. The fact is, the player wants to leave Chelsea. Chelsea lacks ambition. They're sacking managers, and this has gone ahead to annoy Enzo Fernández, and he's like, why should I not leave this club? Because they are really looking very unprofessional. They sack managers, and they've gone ahead to cause a lot of havoc in here. So Arsenal is like, let's make an inquiry about his status. You understand? And obviously, the status is obviously being told to all of us that Enzo Fernández wants to leave. You know, if a right club comes in through. Now, Man City is out of the race. Real Madrid not interested and City not interested, meaning that Arsenal can hugely go all in for this player. But my question is, can Arsenal pay 120 million pounds that Chelsea are really calling in for? Can Arsenal pay that money? Because they never went in for battle of Elliot Anderson because they thought that he's overpriced. Enzo Fernández, is he overpriced or not? I do believe that in the current market, 120 million pounds is not bad for Enzo Fernández, because if Elliot, who has been playing at Nottingham, is going in for that money, Enzo Fernández, World Cup winner, he's a very quality midfielder. And he's one of the fewest midfielders that you can see around that midfield. He can play as a number 6. He can play as a number 8. He can play as a number 10. That is Enzo Fernández for you. And I think the data, they have it. And I think if at all they are collecting data right now, they are collecting his data for his performances at the World Cup. And I think he's having a wonderful display at the World Cup. And I'm really loving exactly what he's putting out as a player in Enzo Fernández for that team of Argentina. You understand? And you can imagine him in that midfield of Arsenal. I tell you, he will transform it. You know, he will transform it. And Enzo Fernández in that midfield of Arsenal makes Arsenal untouchable in Europe and in the Premier League, because he will be a breath of fresh air in that midfield of Arsenal. And that gives you a chance to rest Declan Rice, because Arsenal looking in for midfielder whom they can obviously bring in through and can obviously see Declan Rice rested, because he played very many games for the previous season for the club of Arsenal. He's playing at the World Cup right now. You know, he hasn't gone ahead to get enough rest. So they believe they need to get in a midfielder who will see Declan Rice really not being used a lot like they used him last season. And you know what? You know where his game rides on. It's physicality in there for you, for a man known as Declan Super Rice. So we wait and see how things really pan out. But for Enzo Fernández, Arsenal have raised up their hand again to obviously see to it that they get in the player. But for me, the price will be really very, 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 very big in there for you. Today, Brazil is playing Norway And after Brazil playing Norway, England is going to be playing Mexico in there for you. So, Brazil won't be having Rafinha. That's what you're obviously getting in through. We don't know what the match day squad will be, but Rafinha is out of the contest. And this is Get Globo from Brazil telling us that Rafinha is set to miss Brazil's round of 16 clash against Norway after picking up an injury. There is optimism he could be back in time for the quarterfinals if Brazil progresses with a final decision on his recovery expected in the coming days. Now, I think Norway, there is no reason as to why you obviously have to even have Rafinha in. I think Brazil can get the job done and dusted even without Rafinha. But in their next game, remember, when they qualify, they either play England or Mexico. All those are really hard opponents because Mexico is the host. They'll take you to play in Mexico, in that stadium, with an attitude that affects the functionality of the lungs of the players, meaning that you cannot obviously perform at full blast in there for you. So, even if it's England, you'll obviously know that you are facing one of the hardest teams in there for you, though I believe Brazil has all what it takes. But I think Rafinha, for me, is better to come up when they are playing against a side called England or Mexico. But against Norway, I think Neymar, Vini, Cunha, Casemiro, Endrick, and very many others they do have, can obviously get this job done and see to it that they get it out of the way in there for you. So Rafinha is out, but I think at the quarterfinals, that's where you need a Rafinha to obviously come in through and obviously unleash himself and what he's going to do. Though we've gone ahead obviously today. Carlo Ancelotti has come up and told us that Neymar is ready for this encounter. He said Neymar can play 90 minutes and he can play with Vinicius. I think they will play together. So he's dropping a hint that today Neymar and Vinicius might be dropped on the pitch to play together, because this manager of Brazil, known as Carlo Ancelotti, went ahead to understand that in the game where Brazil was knocking out Scotland, however much he wanted to bring on Neymar, but he couldn't, because he knew to it that where the game had reached, they couldn't sacrifice a position for a leggy player, because Neymar is always good when he's having the ball, but he's not good when he's not having the ball, meaning that where the game was, you needed workaholics who could obviously offer, you needed players who could help you defensively and offensively. And Neymar wasn't part of that. But in the game of Norway, you can obviously start Neymar and Vinicius Jr. After starting them together, you can obviously take off Neymar and really get back to your plan that saw you win the game of Scotland. And in a game like this, when you expected him to sit back like Norway is obviously going to be coming, all you have to do is simple. Bring in a player, Neymar-like, who can obviously get in some 40 to 60 minutes in there for you, and then you can use the remaining 30 minutes to obviously do some serious business at the World Cup in there for you. So wait and see how things really pan out. And Ancelotti has given us a hint onto what his team is obviously going to be looking like in there for you. So thank you guys for watching in through. Rokani David is my name. I hope you guys are really having pure fun. Your reactions onto Arsenal make Enzo Fernández transfer inquiry are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having pure fun. And Neymar playing with Vinicius Jr., will it yield results that you Brazilian fans really have? Remember, I tipped Brazil to win this World Cup, by the way, there for you. And on this side, there is Argentina, there is England, and very many others. Guys, first video of the day, more content is loading, and just keep it Rokani Media Football. We out. See you later, but continue to subscribe because we want to hit 30,000 subscribers in there for you. And it's this summer that we need to hit that mark. I'm out.